Hi everyone, so Miss Myra here. Today I'd like to go through with you this topic, which is length. So as you can see, I've already uploaded the booklet over here. So what I need you to do is to have full scap with you and follow along, okay? So as you can see, the question here, measure the eraser below, use a centimeter ruler. So as you can see, where is it? It starts at your 0 cm mark and it goes all the way to your 3 cm mark. Can you see here? 3 cm and 0 cm. So basically your eraser is 3 centimeters long. So instead of writing 3 centimeters, you can just put it as 3 cm, but you will have to write the units. This is the units to measure how long is the eraser. So you have to write down the units, which is centimeter, cm, 3 cm. Okay, do not miss that out. So now let's look at the second example, which is the pencil. So the pencil is how many centimeters long? So start at 0, go all the way over here. All the way to here. So it's 14 centimeters, as you can see, 14, right? Yes, there we go, 14 centimeters long. So one thing you need to take note is that to measure how long a thing is, it would always have to start at your 0 cm mark or anywhere between 0 and 15. Okay, it can start at 4, it can start at 6 or even 8, but it has to be within this between 0 and 15. You cannot start over here. You cannot start before 0. You cannot start measuring before 0. Okay, it has to be 0, okay, or between 0 and 15. All right, we'll look at more examples for that. So let's see. Now, okay, over here, look at the way of measurement, if it's correct. So let's see. Over here, where does it start? It starts before your 0 mark. So is that correct? No, it's not. You cannot measure if it's before your 0 mark. So this one, you do not take it. Now let's look at the second example. Second example, they started off at the 0 cm mark all the way to 4 cm. So this one, you know that this stem is 4 cm long. Okay, so this is the correct way of measuring. Now, let's look at the third way. So the third way of measuring, okay, like I said, you do not necessarily need to start at your 0 cm mark. You can start anywhere in between 0 and 15. So like this example over here, they started at 6 cm, as you can see, and ended at 10 cm. But how long is the stem? How do you find that answer? You have to take 10 cm minus 6 cm, you'd get 4 cm. So the stem is of 4 centimeters. Okay, so yes, you take this one and you take this one. Okay. So that's that for this question. Now let's look at the next question. Okay, could you guys pause your video and do a question C for me? All right, so as you can see here, the length of the clip is how many centimeters? So let me go through with you. Starts at 0 all the way to 2, right? So basically it is 2 centimeters long. All right, now let's see. Could you do this for me? pause the video and do this for me. Right. Okay, so the coin pouch is how many centimeters long? From 0 cm all the way over here, right? All the way here. 0. See where does it end? It ends at your 8 cm mark. So the coin pouch is 8 centimeters. All right. Okay, so that's that for this question. Now let's see what's next. Okay, now let's look at this example over here. There's a slight difference from your previous questions, right? So let's see. The tennis racket. Could you tell me how long is it? So as you can see over here, where does the dotted line end? The dotted line ends at your 71 cm mark. So this tennis racket is basically 71 centimeters long. All right. Okay, so let me see. Let's see. Okay. All right, so I want to go through this question now. So as you can see over here, the width. So basically, how wide is this desk? To determine, okay, the width of this desk, we'd have to see, okay, sorry, no. To determine how wide this desk is, we have to see the width. So the width, where does the dotted line end? The dotted line ends at your 69 centimeters mark. So basically, your desk is 69 cm wide. Okay, and how tall is your desk? Could you see? So your height would determine how tall your desk is. Where does the dotted line end? So as you can see, the dotted line ends at your 54 centimeters mark. So this desk is 54 centimeters tall. All right. So that is how we see this. We do this type of questions. So I'd like, okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, I want everyone to pause on this video now and do this question for me. Okay, so let's see. There we go. So the desk is how many centimeters tall? So let's focus on this first. How many centimeters tall? So to know how tall is it, we look at the height, because the height is what determines the height. Okay, sorry. We look at the height to see how tall this desk is. So as you can see, where does the dotted line end? So right over here, all the way to here. It ends at your 87 cm mark. And wide. Okay, how many centimeters wide? So to know how wide it is, we look at the width. So the width over here, where does it end? It ends at your, look here, it ends at your 89 cm mark. So the desk is 89 centimeters wide. I hope all of you got that right. Okay, so let's look at okay, basically that's about it for this booklet. Okay, let me move on to the next booklet with you, which is this one right here. Okay, so for this booklet, Okay. For this booklet, we're going to learn about comparing two things. Okay. So, one second. All right, okay, so for this booklet, let's go through comparing two items. So basically, when you're comparing two items, let's look at the pedal and the umbrella. So the pedal and the umbrella, which one is longer? Obviously, as you can see, is the pedal, right? The pedal is long, yes. How are you gonna put them into words like this? So the pedal is longer than the umbrella. And then we look over here, pedal and the broom. So pedal and the broom, as you can see, they are of the same length. So if they're of the same length, how are you gonna phrase your words? The broom is as long as the pedal. So that is if they're of the same length. Okay. And then let's look at the third one. The third one is between your fork and your spoon. The spoon is short, yes. Okay, so the spoon is shorter than your fork. The toothbrush is as short as the spoon because they are of the same length. Okay, that's how you do your comparison. Now, compare the height of the objects below. So let's compare between the lamppost and the bicycle. So as you can see, the lamppost is taller than the bicycle and the scooter is shorter than the tree. But what about the lamppost and the tree? So the tree is as long as the lamppost is as tall as the tree. Okay, the lamppost is as tall as the tree because they are of the same height. All right. Okay, now let's look over here. Okay, broom A is what broom B. So we look at, okay, let's look at broom A. Let's look at broom B. Broom A is what broom B. So you're supposed to tell me if it's longer than, shorter than, or as long as. So as you can see, broom A is much shorter than broom B. So broom A is shorter than broom B. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. What's the next question asking you? Broom C is what? Then it's what broom A. So let's see. Broom C and broom A. Obviously, C is longer as you can see, right? So broom C is longer than broom A. Okay, and then what's the next one? The next one, broom B is what broom C. So you can see they're of the same length. So if they're of the same length, what are you going to write? You're going to write broom C is as long as. Okay? Yes. So that's how you do such questions. So now, let's see. I'd like all of you to pause on this video and do this question for me. Yes. All right. Okay. So 3C is what 3B? Let me go through with you. Let's see if we get it correct. 3C and 3B. So obviously you can see that it's much shorter, right? So it is shorter than. Okay. And then we'll look at the second one. What's the second one? 3A and 3C, right? So 3A, they are of the same length. So obviously you would have to put as tall as. And then what about the third one? The third one, let's see if we get it correct. It's between 3B and 3A. So as you can see, 3B is taller than 3A. Okay. Right. right, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, now we are comparing with three objects over here, three ladders over here. So as you can see, ladder A is longer than ladder B and also longer than ladder C. So what could you conclude from here is that ladder A is the longest. Okay, it's the longest. And then what about ladder B? As you can see, ladder B, right, it is shorter than A and it is also shorter than C. So what can you conclude over here is that ladder B is the shortest. All right. So for example, something like this, compare the height of the trees. So as you can see, tree B, it's taller than A and also taller than C. So how are you gonna phrase your words? Tree B is the tallest. And then we look at tree A. Tree A is shorter than tree B and also shorter than tree C. So tree A is the shortest. Okay. Now let's look at this question over here. The spatula, is it the longest or is it the shortest? Okay, so the spatula is longer than the fork. It's also longer than the tongs. So the spatula is the longest. And then the fork. What about the fork? As you can see, it is shorter than the spatula, also shorter than the tongue. So it is the shortest. All right. So that's how you do your comparing. Now, okay. Let's look at this cactus over here. Okay. I'd like you to do number 2 for me. Pause the video and do number 2 for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through with you the answers. Let's see if we get them correct. Cactus A, is it the tallest or the shortest? So if you're gonna compare cactus A with cactus B, it is shorter, right? And then if you're gonna compare cactus A and C, again, cactus A is shorter than C. And then if you're gonna compare A and D, as you can see, it is still shorter. So you can conclude that cactus A is the shortest. And then what about cactus C? Cactus C, we compare cactus C and cactus A. It is taller. Cactus C and cactus B, also cactus C is taller than cactus B. And then what about C and D? Again, C is taller. So you can conclude over here that cactus C is the tallest. Right? Okay. Now I'm going to teach you how we do such questions when you come across them. So you're going to compare between eraser, pen, and stapler. So what you have to do first before anything is write down their lengths. So for eraser, as you can see, where does it end? 3 cm mark. So write down 3 cm. Always have to write down. Okay, and then your pen, 14 cm. Okay, it starts at 0, so it's very straightforward. And then stapler from 0 all the way to 9 cm. So eraser is 3 cm, pen is 14 cm, and stapler is 9 cm. So, okay, can you tell me, if I were to ask you, the pen is how many centimeters longer than the stapler? The pen is how many centimeters longer than the stapler? What you have to do over here is you'd have to take 14 cm minus 9 cm to find this part over here. Okay, you have to minus. So 14 cm minus 9 cm, you get 5 cm. So the pen is 5 centimeters longer than the stapler. Okay, then what if they ask you okay, look at the eraser and also the pen. The eraser is how many cm shorter than the pen? Okay, how do you do this? You gotta take 14 minus 3. There we go. 14 minus 3 is 11 cm. So the eraser is 11 centimeters shorter than the pen. Okay, now if they ask you to arrange the objects from longest to shortest, L for longest, S for shortest, then we see pen 14 cm. So you could see, right, that this is the longest. So we put pen, followed by what's next? Stapler. Okay. And also followed by your eraser. E for eraser, okay? So that is how you do. You always have to write down their lengths by the side. So for reference, it's going to be very easy. Okay. So come, let's do this. How long are pencils A, B, and C? So again, before anything, write down A, 10 cm, right? Then what about B? Look at the dotted line, follow 7 cm. C, follow the dotted line, ends at 12 cm. Also take note that it starts from your 0 cm mark. So it's very straightforward like that. So pencil A, 10 cm. Pencil B, 7 cm. Pencil C, 12 cm. Okay. So now next part of the question. How many centimeters longer is pencil A than pencil B? So how many centimeters longer is pencil A than pencil B? Okay, let me see. 1 second. Okay, so how many centimeters longer is pencil C than pencil A? So as you can see the question over here, they are asking you to compare between pencil A and pencil B. So we look here. Pencil A was 10 cm and pencil B at your 7 cm. So how are you going to compare? 10 cm minus 7 cm, you get 3 cm. Okay, so pencil A is 3 centimeters longer than pencil C. All right. Okay. Now, what about question part C? Part C over here. How many centimeters shorter is pencil A than pencil C? So we look at pencil A over here, pencil A and pencil C. So pencil A is 10 cm and pencil C is 12, right? How are you going to find the answer again? You would have to minus 12 cm minus 10 cm. You would get this part here, which is 2 cm. Okay. Now, how do you arrange them in order from shortest to longest? So C, which one is the shortest? So as you can see here, B being 7 cm, it's the shortest, right? So B followed by A followed by C. So that's how you put them in order. Right, okay, so let's see. Okay, now I'd like you to pause your video and I'd like you to do this question. All right, okay, so let's see. Let me go through your answers. So rope B is shorter than rope. It is shorter than which rope? So you can see it is shorter than rope A. Okay, what about C? C, they're of the same length. Okay, so rope B is shorter than rope A. Rope what is longer than rope C? As you can see over here, the longest is rope A. Rope B cannot be the answer because it's of the same length. Okay, it's of the same length. Rope what is as long as rope what? So as you can see over here, rope B is as long as rope C. So those are your answers. for this question. So you'd have to compare them, all right? Okay. Now, for this type of question, remember previously was all starting from your 0 cm mark. But look at this question. It does not start at your 0 cm mark. So it's not going to be that straightforward, but you could still do it. Okay, so let's start with crayon C. So crayon C, okay, let's go through with from the questions itself, okay? So question A, how long is crayon A? So let's just look at crayon A first. Crayon A, where does it start? Look at the dotted line, follow along. It starts at 8 cm, so you write 8. Ends at 15 cm, correct? 15. So how long is this? How long is crayon A? So you do 15 cm minus 8 cm, you will get, okay? So you have to minus them, okay? Okay, yes. So when you minus 15 cm minus 8 cm, you get 7 cm. So put 15 minus 8, you get 7 cm. So crayon A is 7 cm long. How long is crayon B? So same thing for crayon B. Where does it start? It starts over here, 5 cm. Where does it end? At 11 cm. So how are you going to find the length? 11 minus 5, you'd get 6. So crayon B is 6 centimeters long. All right. So now they ask you to find crayon. Okay. How many centimeters longer is crayon C than crayon B? So here they're asking you to compare between crayon C and crayon B. So we look at crayon. Okay, we look at crayon C and crayon B. So crayon C, how many centimeters? You have to write down how many centimeters they are by the side, okay? So it's easier for you. So crayon C starts at 0 all the way to here, which is 9 cm. So they're asking you to compare between crayon B and crayon C. So what you have to do, you have to take 9 cm minus 6 cm. You get 3 cm, okay? So crayon C is 3 centimeters longer than crayon B, all right? Now, okay. How many centimeters shorter is crayon A than crayon C? So that is the question, okay? How many centimeters shorter is crayon A than crayon C? Okay. So what do you have to do again over here? 9 cm minus 7 cm. What's 9 minus 7? You get 3 cm. Sorry, 2 cm. Okay. 2 cm. All right. So 9 minus 7 is 2 cm. So basically, crayon A is 2 centimeters shorter than crayon C. Now, how are you going to arrange them in order? So I want you to arrange in order from the longest to the shortest. So which is the longest? 9 cm, 6 cm, 7 cm. Obviously, your C, right? Your crayon C. So C followed by B followed by A. All right. 1 second. Okay, sorry, my mistake. From longest to shortest, 9, right? So C followed by A, which is 7, followed by B. So it's C. 1 second. So it's C, A, and then B. 9 cm, 7 cm, and then 6 cm, all right? Okay. So that's how you do such questions. You have to see where the starting point is and where it ends. All right, so because if it starts at 0, very straightforward. If it doesn't, you would have to do some workings, okay? So I would like you to pause on the video and I'd like you to do this question, this page for me first. Okay, now I'd like you to do the extra questions. So basically A, B, C, and D. Okay, so these are the questions that I want you to attempt and I'll go through in a bit. All right, okay, so let me go through with you. So first things first, let's see. Find the length of strip P. So strip P, where does it start? 5 cm. Where does it end? 14 cm. So how are you going to find how long? You will have to take 14 cm minus 5 cm, correct? Which is 9 cm. Okay, so P is 9 cm. And then what about Q? Starts at 2, right? Follow along, 2 ends at 9. So how do you find this? 9 minus 2. What's 9 minus 2? So 9 minus 2, you get 7. So the length of strip Q is 7 centimeters. So I hope you get that right. Now find the length of strip R. Starts at 1. Okay, it starts at 1 and it ends at 6. So 6 minus 1 is 5 cm. So R is 5 cm. Okay, so list their lengths by the side so it's easy for you to see and refer. So is strip Q longer or shorter than strip P? So they're asking you to compare between what? Strip Q and strip P. Is it longer or shorter? Strip Q is 7 cm. Strip P is 9 cm. So as you can see, strip Q is much shorter. So it is shorter. Okay, I'll just circle shorter then. Now, by how many centimeters? So they're asking you now, there's two parts to this question. The first part, you have to answer shorter or longer, which you have done, right? Now, second part, by how many centimeters? So how are you going to find that? You would have to take 9 cm minus 7 cm. You'd get 2 cm. So by 2 cm. All right. Now, the next question is to arrange them in order from shortest to longest. So let's see, which is the shortest over here? 5 cm, 7 cm, 9 cm. So as you can see, R is the shortest. So we write R followed by Q followed by P. Okay, so that is how you do such questions. You always have to write the length by the side here. Okay, and if it starts from the 0 cm mark, it's very straightforward. If it doesn't, for cases like this, you have to write down where it starts, where it ends, and you minus them off. Okay, so that's it for this question. Right, okay. So now something like this may come up as well, right? So, okay, let's look. Find the length of rod S. So this is rod S, right? As you can see here, follow this dotted line. Okay, and we follow the first circle over here. First, right? Where does the dotted line end? At 4. So we write 4. S, it starts here. Where does it end? Over here. Where's the dotted line? Over here, right? 42. So how do you find the length? The same concept, 42 minus 4, which is 38. Okay, now how do you find the length of rod T? Same thing, rod T. We look here, 42, follow along. Starts at 42, where does it end? Over here, we follow 91. So 91 minus 42. What's 91 minus 42? 49. Okay, so rod T is basically 49 centimeters and rod S is 38 centimeters. Now, rod U, where does it start again? Look here, over here, 4 cm, where does it end? 73 cm. So 73 minus 4. Okay, it's the same concept. 73 minus 4, you get 69. So rod U is 69 centimeters. Okay, now I'm gonna type a question over here. 1 second. Okay, look here. Is rod T longer or shorter than rod U? So there's two parts to this question. By how many centimeters? So let's focus on the first part of the question. Is rod T longer or shorter than rod U? So we look at rod T and we look at rod U. Is it longer or is it shorter? Rod T is 49 cm, whereas rod U is 69 cm. So as you can see, that over here, rod T is shorter. So I'll just circle shorter than rod U. By how many centimeters? So again, how are you going to find this? 69 minus 49, which is 20. So by 20 centimeters, okay? So that's how you do such questions. Okay. Now, let me erase all of this. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do is to do question A over here, and then B, C, D, and E. Okay, for E, I want you to arrange them in order from shortest to longest. And for B and C, I would like you to find the length of rod Y and rod Z. And also to take note, for D, there's two parts to this question. Okay, so now I would like you to attempt this question. I'll go through in a bit. All right, okay, so now find the length of rod X. So rod X, where does it start? Look at the dotted line, 7 cm. Where does it end? Dotted line, this circle over here, 63 cm. So 63 minus 7, which is 56. So the length of rod X is 56 centimeters. Okay, now length of rod Y. So we look at rod Y. Rod Y over here. What's this? Follow 38. So write down 38 first. And then what's this? Y. Follow along 96. So 96 minus 38, correct? What's 96 minus 38? Did you get 58? Okay, 58 cm. Now, what about rod Z? Starts at 63, right? Ends at 96. It's the same thing. 96 minus 63. Okay, did you get 33 cm? So 33 would be the correct answer. Now that you have all your lengths, write them by the side. So X would be 56 Y would be 58. Z would be 33 cm. Okay. Now, D. Is rod X longer or shorter than rod Z? So we look at, they're asking you to compare between X and Z. So X over here and Z over here. 56 cm, 33 cm. So is it longer or is it shorter? It is longer, right? So I'll just circle longer. By how many cm? So this is the second part of the question. By how many cm? What do you have to do? Have to take 56 minus 33. Okay, that would give you 23 cm. So by 23 centimeters. Okay, so that is how you do such questions. So that's it for this question. I hope all of you got it right. Okay. Okay, last question and then we're done. So let's look here. Okay, fill in the blanks. Write all the names of those who are taller than Gina. So we look at Gina. Okay, and then one thing that you can also see is that the boxes that they're standing on, they're not of the same height. As you can see, Heidi's one is the tallest and Eileen's one is the shortest. So you can determine from here that Heidi is the shortest of them all and Eileen would be the tallest of them all. But now look at question A. Write all the names of those who are taller than Gina. So we look at Gina. Okay, those who are taller than Gina. So we look at the boxes over here. Farah's box is actually shorter than Gina's and so is Eileen's. However, Heidi's is much taller than Gina. So who is taller than Gina? It will be Farah. I'll just write F for Farah and Eileen. E for Eileen, okay? They are both taller than Gina. Who's the shortest? So to determine who's the shortest, we look at the boxes. Okay, who is standing on the tallest box? Heidi, right? So Heidi is the shortest. Okay, we look at the boxes to determine their height. Arrange them in order. Begin with the shortest. So we have already found out that Heidi is the shortest. So I'll just put number 1 first, followed by, okay, the next box that is, okay, the next box. Which one is the tall? Which one is, okay, hold on. So Heidi would be first. Next one. Who's the next one? Which box is the tallest among these three? Gina, right? So Gina would come second. Followed by, between Farah and Eileen, obviously Farah's box is taller. And then Eileen. So I'll just write their first letter, which is Heidi, followed by Gina, followed by Farah, and followed by Eileen. All right. So that's how you do this question. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. I hope everyone understood. And so what you've got to do next is you got to proceed to the online platform to do your homework. And I'll see you soon to go through the questions, all right? So I'll see you guys very soon. Okay, bye.